Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I am Jake.
I am Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. Jake, the mystery has been unveiled.
It is unveiled.
It
is here.
We know what mystery booster packs are, and we are ready to talk about what we do know and what we still have yet to find out.
But before we can, what must happen?
Click some buttons, I think.
That's it. Go down, click like, click subscribe. If you're just hanging out, that's cool too.
Yep. If you are logged in, we would appreciate you clicking the button. If you're not, let's just sit back, relax, and talk about mystery boosters. So there was a lot of hype around this. They have been hyping this up for weeks now. There was just hype all over social media today. Mystery boosters were cracked, and this is one of the first images we saw.
I mean, that's a good image, and go ahead and take a look at the bottom left of that image of that Mana Crypt.
Kind of hard to see,
but it is the Planeswalker symbol, and that shows us these are reprints. These are not like stock that they're just putting into new packs. This is actual. All of these cards that you're going to see have been reprinted for this set.
Exactly.
And yeah, man, it's Mana Crypt, and that's a big $200 bill. It's one of the big reasons that Eternal Masters has kind of been skyrocketing lately. Those boxes went from like $260 to $450 really quick, and this is one of those cards that it's a staple. It's a cube staple. It's a freaking EDH monster.
Absolutely.
So,
it's a super
really
expensive card. It was super exciting to see that from the finance standpoint that they were absolutely putting some high value reprints in this set. Now, what we don't know yet, and you can see from this tweet, we'll find out, we don't know the full card list yet. We could have some other cards. The rest of them could be financially duds. On Monday, we get the full list from Wizards. They announced that just an hour ago when we were shooting this.
But a little bit of spice is Kolaghan's Command did get a reprint. Yep. Obviously, you just saw Mana Crypt. There's some other big heavy hitters, so look out for those. You can check your social media. You're going to see all sorts of stuff.
So this is what the packs actually comprise of, straight from Gavin, friend of the show. And he was the lead designer on this, I'm pretty sure. Each pack has 2 commons and uncommons of each color, 1 multicolored common or uncommon, 1 artifact or land common or uncommon, a playtest card, which we'll get into more later, an M15 forward rare or mythic, and 1 pre-M15 card in its original frame. And that could be any rarity. I had saw people tweeting online today that got multiple rares in a single pack.
Yeah, very cool. A lot of hype. There are some people that are they're kind of meh about this product, and we have a lot of people that are really excited about it.
Yeah, it's been fairly polarizing so far. This is an enhanced version of that picture that Gavin tweeted out, so you can kind of see what.
Yes, let me get out of the way here a little bit.
They showed off. And what was in it? You've got a Sliver Hive Lord, you've got a Soul Manipulation, Knight's Whisper is pretty cool, and then up in the top left, you've got that playtest card. We'll go over what those are. You see a Predict, what is that? Fascination, I see now. And if I count correctly, Jake, you got 2 rares in this pack, because you got the old border rare there, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe a 6th uncommon.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of all over the place, and I can't wait to see how they break this down in the future. But you can see these are really interesting packs, but we're not seeing anything new other than these playtest cards. And what are these? You know, like that's what we're gonna find out.
Let's look at these. They're all freshly printed cards. I did get this Gavin comment off of Reddit. And then he was saying, wait for the full list. Another notable thing that I saw him answer today when Kendra Smith at the Maverick Girl on Twitter asked him, what is the cost of these packs going to be? Or what is the store, going to be able to do with these packs? Is it all for events, or can they sell them individually? And essentially he said it's at the store's discretion. They can do with them whatever they want. I think that's a good thing too, because there's a lot of people that are asking different questions. Do I have to participate in an event? Can I just buy it? Yeah,
what do I need to do to just get sealed product and sit on it? Like all sorts of different things. So the fact that they are leaving it up to the LGS discretion is good.
Here's another example of what somebody opened in a pack. You've got a Hedron Crab down there, a Bit Blast. I'm not familiar with that dragon, but I think that's the rare. You've got the Strix up there in the top right.
At uncommon.
Yep. Uncommon.
So Strix was actually rare in Eternal Masters, so the fact that it's been downshifted to uncommon is pretty sweet.
Absolutely. So here we go. These are the test cards. These are we've got 3 cards, and from what I've seen so far, we've seen a lot more than 3, but here we've got 3. From what I've seen so far, these look like really fun. Gavin tweeted earlier that these are a combination of card designs that they would never do, and it's more of an unglued, unhinged approach to a card design. And it's some cards that they are releasing out into the wild, and they would take feedback on because they legitimately would print it into a set.
Oh, and there's one that I am really, really excited for, and I hope it is going to come out for sure. So as we go through these, we're not going to go over each individual card, but feel free to pause the video, go ahead and read the cards.
Well, I do want to talk about some of them individually, because I think
sure,
that there are very clever designs. This Witty Demon that is behind you, when it enters a battlefield, if your starting library had at least 13 cards over the minimum, search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle it. Otherwise, Witty Demon deals 4 damage to you. That is a very interesting design space there.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it shows that they're taking risks. I've read over some of these as well, and I'm just like, I'm really excited by them. And 13 is definitely a meme with Triskaidekaphobia and whatever that tree was, Tree of Redemption.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore around the number 13, so I wouldn't be surprised if Witty Demon is a real card.
If a player would add mana, instead all players add that mana, very interesting.
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like an
something.
EDH card. Lanterns of Underside, I loved this one. You draw cards from the bottom of your library instead of the top of your library. Imagine that with the Murderous Rider right now. That would be dope.
Yeah, that's a really neat little combo. It's just like, what do we need to do to get this thing killed so I can get it back?
Notable that we have had some slivers, some very powerful slivers. I mean, this one's literally called Sliv Mizzet, the Hive Mind. Slivers gain flying and the ability to tap. And when it deals 1 damage. Sorry, whenever you draw a card, it deals a damage and tap, draw a card.
Yeah, I like how creative they get with these names. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah, it's been super memey. They even had the 1 black, 1 green, 3 other 4/4 flying vigilance. That was such a big discussion around the last Great Designer Challenge of people arguing that a flying Vigi could be a black-green color pie card, and they just went ahead and printed it. Look at Domesticated Mammoth. Enters the battlefield with a token copy of Pacifism attached to it. It's
yeah,
a
that's cute.
5/4 for 2. How to keep an Izzet Mage busy up there is a 1-cost sorcery. Return it to its owner's hand. That's all it does. Adds to storm total, I guess. That was a representation of a pool that I saw on Twitter.
And we do see Meddling Mage there, which is a very notable modern card.
Meddling Mage, you've got a Teferi Planeswalker up there. I thought that was very cool to see as an example of a reprint. Look at that up in the top left. Green for Mara's Gone Nuts. And it says double any effect that doubles, so it quadruples now.
That's something, and oh man, I hope that's not real, because that could get shenanigans very quick.
Right,
it's an enchantment as well, so it's like, what?
I highly doubt they would print a card like that for 2 mana especially. Look at Seasoned Weaponsmith though, because I think that this could be a mechanic on a card in the future. They're calling it Tasty here, which I don't think would be the name of it, but the creature can be attacked directly, and if it's attacked, it can't block creatures that didn't attack it.
Yeah, that is tasty.
Yeah, that could be. It's very Hearthstone, but that could be a mechanic. Patient Turtle up here enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters if you didn't go first. I think that is a very valuable mechanic that could actually be utilized.
Oh yeah, that is really interesting. This is the first time that I've seen the Patient Turtle, and the fact that it can come in as a 3/3 if you go on your first, if you go first, and comes in as a 5/5 if not. I mean, that's strong. That's a strong card.
Absolutely. 5 kids in a trench coat. I think this is another one that they could replicate it as a actual mechanic in a set, because 5 kids in a trench coat counts as 5 creatures for spells and effects that count the number of creatures you control. That's fairly interesting.
Yeah, that is really cool.
This is one of the ones that was really talked about today. Green 2 other for Generated Horizons enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep create a forest land token. That's pretty interesting.
Ooh, that is weird. I don't even know like what's going on in my brain. Oh, this is someone's pool, right?
Yeah, so I included this picture because it was an example of a pool that somebody pulled. 2 Soul Rings, a Mind Stone, Juggernaut, Rolling Thunder, and Mind Shatter all in the same pool.
So, turns out you're playing red-black.
Yeah.
And if you aren't Mind Shattering or Rolling Thundering, you are doing it wrong.
I mean, playing Juggernaut so many turns early, then it should come out. I just thought that was a super dope.
It hurts.
Pool.
It hurts to look at.
Yep.
That's like a turn 2 Juggernaut right there, baby.
Yeah,
like
ridiculous.
That is rough.
So it's hard to see in this picture because it's kind of small, but there's a card up there in the top left called Problematic Volcano that actually presents where the thing is on the battlefield, left or right of this card once it gets played, becomes relevant to the game itself. I don't know that that's a way they would ever design, but I thought it was interesting that they had it. It enters the battlefield, does some damage, and then all the creatures on the battlefield get either put on the left or right of it. Creatures on the left can't attack or can't block creatures on the right, and so they can't interact because they're on different sides of the Problematic Volcano.
Yeah, dude, that is weird.
This one here, One with Death, that was one of the more memey cards that we saw today. It's
Bro, that is such a meme.
Yeah, it's kind of like One with Nothing, where you pay the mana, discard your hand. One with Death is pay 1 black, instant speed, you lose the game.
Yeah, I guess if ever a card existed that said if you would lose the game, instead you win the game.
Yeah, right. That would be nuts. Temporal Mastery was a notable mythic there in the middle. Other than that, you've got Time Sidewalk, which is 4 blue, 4 blue, 4 other. Yeah, 4 blue, 4 other sorcery. Take an extra turn after this. If this card is in your opening hand, you may exile it. If you do, create 4 Time Walk token cards and shuffle them into your deck. That's very Hearthstone.
That is, yes, that is very Hearthstone. That is definitely a Hearthstone type mechanic going on there.
I thought this was a very relevant, very funny Sliver Eldrazi. Eldrazi you control are slivers in addition to their other types.
Slivdrazi monstrosity.
Gives all slivers you controlled the Void and Annihilator 1. That's pretty crazy. And here's
That's
your
rough.
favorite one I think that we've seen.
Yeah, so this is a Black Lotus.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a Black Lotus. When you play it, your opponent may pay 0. If they do, they create a copy of it, except it loses the Reflect ability. And when you exile this, which is just like, actually Lotus, I believe, is discarded, but you have to exile this to add 3 mana of any one color. This card, if it existed, I think even with the drawback of your opponent getting one, just the sheer ability to like combo off and the shenanigans that would come with this card, I think this would just instantly be, like $100 bill.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that Reflect as a mechanic is something that we could see in a format.
Oh yeah.
Whether or not we would see a mirrored Lotus, I don't know.
Yeah, this is just absolutely, like, this is so exciting to me, this one card, just because it is a Black Lotus.
Yeah.
But I mean, it gives your opponent one as well. And I think the card is just excellent, and it seems really fun, but I also do see the argument for it seems absolutely busted beyond this world. It is like power 9 level, except your opponent gets the same thing. It will lead to, if it does exist, very explosive beginnings of the game for yourself and your opponent. You're just going to be crapping out the biggest thing that you have.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a weird direction for constructive play to go.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, maybe Master Set, maybe something like that where it skips standard. It makes me wonder, so the Commander Committee is going to have to rule just like they did on Unglued and all the other sets, whether or not any of these cards with a sticker on them that are test cards, not for constructed play, whether that they could be legal or not in Commander. And that is going to cause a very interesting thing of what happens to the secondary market for these cards. How printed is this set going to be? How sought after is Mirrored Lotus going to be? How easy is Mirrored Lotus to replicate any of the test cards? Can you just print out a sticker and make them yourself? Is that sticker on the card on there well enough that the cards can retain any kind of like quality and be bought and sold? There's a lot of weird questions that I have about this set.
I mean, I've seen some of these stickers on top of Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want that, I don't know if you can get it off. I would like to see one. I wish we had one to inspect. But I do imagine there will be a secondary market value for these. Historically, cards that are test cards, play test cards, do hold a high price tag for collectors. These are the kind of things that people that go for rarities and oddities, they love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That brings us to the end of what we know so far about mystery boosters. I'm not even sure what to call it. We appreciate you watching. Again, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, hitting subscribe if you're logged in. We'd appreciate it if you click a button if you could. If you want to support us,
click a button.
Yeah,
that's it.
If
That's
you want to support
need.
us further, we've got a Patreon. The link is down in the description below. And don't forget that we are streaming twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday nights, over on Twitch. Jake, you got anything else?
Just let us know. Let us know. Were you there? Did you open any of these packs? What did you open? Let us know in the comments. We can't wait to hear from you.
Do you have a booster that we can buy?
Do you have one?
To us.
Can you send us one of the test cards? We'll buy one of the test cards from you.
We are tapped out. Catch you later.
See ya on the flippity.